My child is in 3rd grade. They can't read. What do I do? We know that we are in a literacy crisis. And if you're like, Ms. Brown, I didn't know that, go check out my last video where I talk all about it. So when we're in this crisis, one thing that we need to do is build skilled readers. And what is a skilled reader? What does that even mean? I'm gonna pop up Scarborough's reading rope so that you can follow along with me. So you'll notice that there are 2 big strands, I'll call them, that weave together to build a skilled reader. At the top, you'll see language development, and at the bottom, you'll see word recognition. Now, when we're talking about building foundational literacy skills, typically we are talking about that bottom strand, the word recognition. And if you have a 3rd grader, a 4th grader, a 5th grader, or a middle school child who is struggling with reading, most likely they are missing some of these foundational skills in that bottom strand, word recognition. Here's what you're going to do if you have an upper elementary student or a middle school student who is struggling to read. Here are the 3 steps. Step 1, you're going to assess. You need to figure out exactly what skills this child needs to work on. Now, depending on if you're an educator, if you're a homeschool parent, if you are supplementing education in some sort of way, your assessment may look different. I personally recommend starting with a spelling inventory, and I'm gonna drop the one that I like to use in the description box below. It is set up to be administered by educators, but families, you can also use it. And then I also provide an assessment that I can do for you, and I'll drop that link in the description box below if you would like me to assess your child. I would love to. If your child is enrolled in a public school or a charter school, or your child receives education from a teacher, you want to ask that teacher what assessments are they using and what skills does your child need to master to move from the level that they are on to the next level. And you really want this teacher to get very, very specific on the skill, okay? So this step is to help us to identify what skill this child needs to work on. We need to be very specific. Step 2, pick a skill. After you receive the assessment data, you're probably gonna look at it and say, there's quite a few skills that we need to work on. We are only picking one. And you're picking the skill that is in the continuum next in line for your child to learn. For example, if your child is working on CVC words, the next skill that we are going to work on is blends and digraphs. We're not going to jump all the way to multisyllabic words. We need to follow the continuum. 1, it makes it easier for the children to grasp the next skill along the continuum. And 2, they're ready for it. And we don't want to create more foundational gaps, okay? So you're going to pick one skill, and that skill is going to be next in the continuum. We've assessed, we've picked a specific skill. Now we are going to teach. Step 3 is to teach that skill. Now, teaching could look like you yourself as the parent or as an educator teaching that specific skill to your child, or it can look like hiring a tutoring service or working with Ms. Brown, and I'll drop a link in the description box below for an educator to teach that skill to your child. Whatever it looks like, now you have that specific skill that you're going to work on with your child. And then you're just gonna rinse and repeat. You're going to assess it again, you're going to pick a skill, and you're going to teach. And you're gonna continue that 3-step process as we're helping to build and develop skilled readers. I encourage you to get started today. Do not wait any longer. Whether that looks like reaching out to your child's teacher, whether that looks like contacting Ms. Brown to help you out along this journey, but we really want to take advantage of now so that we are building skilled readers. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.